Today we're doing something a little different. We're actually going to build a character profile, a complete personality portrait, if you will, and we're pulling it straight from a classic homeopathic Materia medica. Think of that as a huge encyclopedia of substances and the symptoms they can produce. Our subject today? Oh, it's complex, it's dramatic, and it's pretty unforgettable. So let's dive right in.
To really get to know this character, we have to start with a pretty intense and honestly startling question. What is the sound of the death rattle? I know, it's a dramatic hook, but it is absolutely central to this whole story.
And there's our answer. According to the source text, this is the defining sound, the #1 key symptom. We're talking about a massive amount of mucus in the airways, so much that it creates a rattling sound you can literally hear from across the room. Just hold that powerful image in your mind, because it's our main clue.
So what's the identity behind this incredibly dramatic symptom? Well, let's meet our character, Tartaricum.
Okay, so its full name is Antimonium Tartaricum, and you can probably guess where it gets the nickname Tartarimetic. It comes from a very direct action. It's an emetic, which is a substance that makes you vomit. And that particular effect is a huge part of its personality, as we're about to see.
Now that we've been introduced, let's get to its core function. Our source material describes this substance as, fundamentally, a great depressor. So the next logical question is, what exactly does it depress?
This slide here, this is basically the blueprint for this character's behavior. First, it targets the pneumogastric nerve. That's a major nerve controlling things like heart rate and digestion, and it just slows everything down. Then it influences the medulla oblongata, which is the brain's vomiting center, to create that intense nausea we talked about. It also triggers inflammation in our mucus-producing tissues, which totally explains that rattling sound, and can even cause specific pustular eruptions on the skin. It's a real full-system effect.
So, here's the crucial takeaway. Out of all of its actions, the most profound, the biggest impact is on these two vital systems. It depresses respiration, your ability to breathe effectively, and circulation, the movement of your blood. This 1-2 punch explains so much, from that rattling sound to the general weakness we see throughout its profile.
You know, every character has its quirks, and believe me, Antimonium Tartaricum is no exception. Let's move on and look at the very peculiar signs that make this profile so distinct and, well, so memorable.
This is a big one. An overwhelming, absolutely irresistible drowsiness that seems to come with almost every single complaint. Can you imagine feeling profoundly ill and, on top of that, just being crushed by this need to sleep? We're talking about a state of complete prostration.
And I love this slide because it shows the incredible level of detail in these profiles. The cravings aren't just for sweet or salty, they're super specific. A strong desire for apples, acidic things, and cold water. And just as specific are the aversions, a real distaste for milk and tobacco. It's these peculiar little details that really help build the full picture.
And that physical state is mirrored by a really distinct emotional one. You get this peculiar irritability, like a child who just will not let you touch them, but at the very same time, a deep dread of being left alone. This anxiety is often paired with restlessness in the evening and just a general bad mood, especially when those bronchial issues are at their worst. It's a complete mind-body state.
Okay, let's keep going and see how all this builds into a full physical portrait. We're going to look at the key signs you would actually see from head to toe.
This chart gives us a great visual summary. And as you'd probably expect, the respiratory organs take the biggest hit, a full 40%. But notice how the mucous membranes, the skin, and the nervous system are also significantly impacted. It's a system-wide effect for sure.
Here's another one of those highly specific physical clues mentioned in the text. This isn't just any old coated tongue. The source describes it as being covered with a thick, white, pasty coat, almost like paste. This is considered a hallmark sign that you just can't miss.
This makes perfect sense when we remember the core problem, right? The respiratory system is depressed, which means the blood isn't getting enough oxygen. So what's the result you see on the outside? A pale, bluish, or cyanosed face, often covered in a cold sweat. It's the external sign of that internal crisis.
So, how does this character respond to the world around it? Let's take a look at what makes things better or worse, and how it relates to other remedies within this system, all as described in our source.
This table is fantastic for understanding the triggers. You can see the clear patterns, can't you? Symptoms get worse in damp cold, when lying down and in a warm, stuffy room. But they get better in cold, open air, when sitting upright, and, this is a big one, after finally being able to expectorate some of that mucus.
Now, our source also highlights a very specific scenario.
It describes a situation where, after a vaccination, if other primary remedies like thuja or silicea just don't match the symptoms or they fail to help, then Antimonium tartaricum is considered. It's a great example of how this system uses a process of elimination and precise symptom matching.
And all that brings us to our final question. We've just walked through an incredibly detailed character study. So what does this whole method of building a complete, holistic picture from the sound of a cough all the way to a craving for apples tell us about the core principles of homeopathy? Well, it reveals a foundational idea that every substance has a unique personality. And the goal of treatment is to find the perfect match between the character of the illness and the character of the remedy. It's a fascinating way to map out a problem, and it definitely leaves us with plenty to think about.